Help me check it. Hey, I'm live. Hey there, it's Sadie at allnaturalme.com. Welcome. Today we're going to get nerdy with each other. We're going to talk about the herb ECHiNACEA. Or some people like to put more syllables into it, ECHiNACEA, like whatever, ECHiNACEA. Also called coneflower. There's between like 3 and 13 different varieties that I know of. 3 main ones, but I think there were at one time more. So this is an herb that really could actually benefit everybody because it stimulates the immune system. So whether that's like a cold or an infection or somebody's going through cancer treatment or whatever, ECHiNACEA is really a beautiful herb. So for the next, I don't know, we're not going to exceed an hour, that's for sure. I am going to get nerdy and talk about ECHiNACEA. Also, I've put together a playlist on my channel. I think there's 5 videos. If you'd also like to learn more about ECHiNACEA, you can watch those. I picked pretty short videos, even though ironically I'm going to make a really long video. So ECHiNACEA, it's a perennial herb. It likes sunlight. So that's one reason why I know personally why where I originally planted it, it didn't do well because the bush got too big and blocked out the sunlight. So I'm going to need to think about where I need to replant it this year because it needs lots of sun, and I want to plant it again because you can't actually use the root until it's like at least 3 years old. So I can use the leaves and the flowers, but it doesn't, the root, you need to let it mature before you use it. So this little card says that ECHiNACEA is used as a blood purifier, numerous ailments, digestive disorders, fever, eczema, acne. And the rootstock, listen to this, is a treatment for flatulence. Good to know. Recently, yes, it's been a pretty popular tea. So you can basically use this, I would say, either as a tea or a tincture made in alcohol, depending on what you want to use it for. You can actually use the whole plant. It's one of those plants that all parts of it are useful. The flowers, the roots, the seeds. I say the leaves. Here's a little makeshift card that I made from healing herbs or learning herbs. That's what it is. It was a poster and it got tore up, so I chopped it up even more and made stapled index cards. So this says that it is an immunomodulator. It is anti-inflammatory, antibacterial. A couple other words that I don't know, and it's good for infected wounds, colds, and flu. So that means that if you have an infection, even if it's topical, you can take it as a tea or a tincture, or you could actually put the tea on the skin. You could put the tea on the skin, or even a diluted tincture. So tincture, tea, or you could do a decoction, which is really like simmering those roots into a strong tea. So have you seen this plant before? Here's 2 different illustrations. It has spiky coneflower top. That's kind of how you know what it is. Here's a picture of this spiky top. Right? Have you ever seen this? It is a pretty plant when you grow it in clusters, but like as far as like being like a showy plant, the petals aren't really that showy, but it's those spiky tops that are really cool. The bees love it. The bees like really love it. So anyways, ECHiNACEA tea. So you can make a tea with the roots. It's kind of bitter. So you might want to add some honey. And then, of course, if you have access to the fresh plant, the freshly dug roots are going to be much more potent than the dried. So it's also called Missouri snakeroot, coneflower, and it kind of does, I know, it kind of does look like a sea urchin. So echinacea does like have like a Greek word association with the Greek word echinos, which means sea urchin. So Native Americans use this if they had wounds. They used it for help dressing the wounds. And then ever since then, it's just been widely used with every herbalist all over the place. There is Echinacea purpurea, agostiflora, and then there's another one too, pallida, Pallida. Now that's just 3 types, but there is actually more, but those are the 3 main echinaceas. So everyone could use this plant because at one point or another, you might need to have your immune system boosted, right? Whether it's going into the cold season and flu season, if you have an infection, or like I'm talking like little infections, like a little skin infection. This can also be used to people who have chronic infections, or even HIV, herpes, like things like that. Like anything that like your immune system could use a boost from. Echinacea is our herbal ally. It helps destroy bacteria and viruses because it helps the body produce interferons. So that is definitely getting nerdy. Besides its internal infection fighting uses, it's also used externally to treat wounds. So yeah, and this probably grows everywhere where you could be. If not, you can introduce it into your yard. But like I was saying, if you want to use the roots, we need to plant it this year because it takes 3 years before you should use the roots because you want to let them mature. So I love the idea of using it topically. In this one book that we're going to dive into, it's about tea. It does say that when you make a tea out of this plant, you can use it as a toner. It helps soften skin, and it helps like do any like any type of chronic skin stuff that like just doesn't seem to heal. Echinacea tea used as a topical toner could be just exactly what we need. So let's see. One thing that I do want to say, of course, is do your own research. Do your own damn research. That's like the best disclaimer ever. Always do your own research. But like echinacea is something that like you maybe don't want to take it all the time because think about it. It stimulates. So you don't want to always be stimulating yourself. So it's best to like use it for a while and then take a break, or only use it when you need it. There are other herbs that say you wanted to build your immune system that would be more appropriate. For example, like astragalus, that's taken over a long period of time, and that helps build an immune system. Echinacea is supposed to be used for a short period of time, intensely, like 3 times a day, to just stimulate, like get your booty working, right? So this could definitely be used like at the beginning of like if you feel like the flu coming on or a cold coming on. Like I was just saying, this could be used for acne or blemished skin, or even chronic urinary tract infections. Like think about chronic stuff that your body is just not healing from. What's a broadcast without my dogs going nuts? So Elaine, somebody's at the door. Pause. Can you just unleash the dogs on whoever it is? Would you tell the dogs to knock it off? Go lay down. Go lay down. Okay, back on track. Sorry, I wasn't even going to try to compete with my dogs being I was gonna say a bunch of something, which I thought was funny because this is from the aster family. So my dog's being a bunch of asters. All right. So, anyways, for wounds, hives, boils, colds, flu, sore throats. I think I might have to assist her. Maybe not. It was Ian to see you. He left. This is so funny. So anyways, echinacea. Right now I need an herb maybe to calm me down, like skullcap. All right, back on track here. So Native Americans use this, and the Chinese swear by its antibiotic and immune stimulating properties. They would use it to treat cancer and AIDS. The Native Americans used to apply echinacea poultices to cuts, scrapes, serious skin wounds, insect bites, stings, and even snake bites. Then, of course, in the mid-19th century, measles, mumps, malaria, blood poisoning, chickenpox, arthritis, chronic nasal congestion, and leg ulcers. So echinacea is pretty much like if you had to pick one herb to never be without, this could be it, because it could just help you. Topically, boils, seasonally, colds and flu, bladder infections, tonsillitis, any infection, basically. You could drink this infusion or tea. So the natural antibiotic in it, ECHiNACEA, I guess, it's comparable to penicillin, according to this little book. It also helps with viruses and fungi and bacteria, all types of stuff. So it helps on two levels. One, it helps directly to whatever is making you sick, and then it also helps just stimulate your immune system to start doing its job. So it's a really cool plant. It increases the production of infection-fighting T cells by 30%. It's useful in treating yeast infections. It's also, in another totally different scope, helpful for arthritis, bursitis, things like that, of like an inflammation in the tendon or the joints. And it would also help counteract the side effects of radiation therapy and healing wounds. So anyways, that you could use the tea by boiling 2 teaspoons of the dried herb in a cup of water, simmer for 15 minutes, drink it 1 to 3 times a day. So definitely invite this flower into your garden. It grows well in a cool, sunny place. Make sure the soil is alkaline and fertilize with compost regularly. And then just a reminder, before you harvest the root, it should have 3 to 4 growth periods. So that takes a long time in my world. All right, so let's see here. I like the idea of using it for a urinary tract infection. I think that's good. You could also combine it with goldenrod or marshmallow. There's other herbs that it works really well with. Like for the acne stuff, we could combine it with thyme or calendula. So yeah, it's a good companion herb for other herbs. And let's see here. Did we talk about the tea? Let's talk about it on our face. Let's talk about the topical Echinacea skin toner, because that was like the one thing that like I had not really thought of immediately with this plant, because it's just something that you think about like for like imperative situations, like I need to get my immune system working now. But it actually could be used as a beauty remedy. The Italian scientists have shown that it protects the skin from oxidative damage, right? So let me get closer so I can give you an example of sun-damaged skin sometimes loses its collagen. So that could show up as wrinkles and roughness. So the antioxidants in echinacea prevent the cellular decay and minimize the effects of sun damage. So for someone like me who's not going to stop going out in the sun, because I know I need the sun spiritually, I need the sun. This is something that I could actually use, I think, even before going out in the sun. Topical echinacea can work wonders on your skin, and it's an excellent toner to use before sunbathing. So just make the tea like you're going to, and then use a cotton ball and just put it on like you would have toner. You could just use even store-bought echinacea tea bags for that. Yeah, and if you could find a tea that had all three types of the echinacea, the Augustifolia, the Purpurea, and the Pallida, if you could find all three, even better. Just let it cool, make the tea, let it cool down, use the echinacea water. I would probably spritz it on. I'm more of a spritzer than a rubber. And then refrigerate the liquid for repeated use. Probably gonna have to make that. They say every 3 days, right? So only make like 1 cup and then be loose with it. If you have echinacea that you ordered bulk, that would be about 2 teaspoons per 1 cup when you make this. So it softens hard skin. Like if you get a rough patch of skin, it would help, or like elbows. I'm thinking elbows. It softens hard skin, penetrates deep to heal wicked skin conditions. And then it's an excellent toner to use before sunbathing. There's a whole list of vitamins and minerals. It's incredible. It really is. Incredible plant. Anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antiviral, antimicrobial, anti-allergenic, and it is an immune stimulant. So wow. Wowzer for sure. I also love that it has B complex vitamins in it, right? The stuff that our body needs. So if you're drinking just a cup of tea for one reason, it's actually working on a holistic level for you and giving you iron for your red blood, calcium for your bones and teeth, selenium for disease resistance, and silica for tissue repair. That's why it helps with the joint bursitis and tendinitis and stuff like that. That's why it helps, because it has silica. So like I said before though, like if you are going to drink this tea, make sure like you take a week break. You know, I would say drink it for a week and then a week off. I would. If you want to do it over a month or two, definitely take breaks off, because you don't always want to just be stimulating yourself. Let's see what else we can say about this beautiful herb. It does have daisy-like petals. The leaves are pretty big, kind of a little scratchy in my opinion, but it's got deep medicinal roots. So, and it does go in to talk about the 3 different types. They're all immune stimulants, but I would say try to get all 3. If you seriously needed this plant to help you heal, try to get all 3. Like, why would you want to short yourself? So let's see, let me show you one more picture here in this book. Echinacea. Yeah, the Native Americans use this for snake bites, fevers, old stubborn wounds, stuff that just will not heal. It does have a cool, dry character to it. I love that it's anti-allergenic. So if you're having allergies, this is definitely something to look into. It's also a lymphatic tonic. So it's an immune stimulant, antibiotic, a lymphatic tonic. If your body is not up to par, like sometimes it needs a little kick in the pants. Yeah, for sure. So this shows the root. Whoops, this shows the root. And one of the ways, it's not a real popular way, but like you could powder the root, and you could use that as a dusting powder for like boils or like eczema that's weeping. Like sometimes eczema looks almost infected. It could be infected actually. It's weeping. The skin is like weeping, and then it does open itself up to infection. So you could dust that weeping wound with this powdered echinacea, like seriously powdered though. You could take this as a capsule. That's not the most effective way. The tincture and the tea is the most effective way. You could take that tincture or tea, and I do have some echinacea tincture right here. This is not very dark because I used a dried herb because it was like an afterthought. I had dried the herb like to use as a tea, and then I ended up having like more 100 proof, and I was like, well, maybe I should just tincture that. So next time I will use the fresh plant, even if I'm just using the leaves and the flowers or the seeds. You could use the seeds. I will use them in fresh chopped up form, and then it will be a darker green tincture. The roots too I would use fresh, but I will not, I love you, I will not dig up the plant until it's at least 3 years old. So you can take this tincture every 2 to 3 hours if needed, if you felt like you were coming on, you had chills, or if you just knew you had like a serious urinary tract infection. You want to take this right away, real intensely. Let's see here. And same thing with the tea or decoction. You drink it every couple hours just to get yourself like going. You can gargle with it, dilute it a little bit. Well, you could use the tea or dilute the tincture. You can gargle that if you feel like the infection's in the back of your throat or in your teeth or gums. So there is a lot you can do with this. And to end the broadcast, I'm going to invite my very good friend. Yeah, we like talk on the phone all the time. James Duke, BFF. I'm just going to read you the index. How ridiculously long the ailments, I guess, that you could call on the Herbal Ally Echinacea for. So that's how we're going to end the broadcast. Thank you so much for nerding out with me, getting to know Echinacea a little bit more. Do your research. Watch my playlist. I put together 5 pretty cool videos. 2 of them are like about like growing them on a massive scale, and there's just this like field of Echinacea. Like, it's incredible. It's beautiful. So we did talk a little bit about the first one they have listed is anti-aging properties. It's an antioxidant. It's good for your skin, you guys. You can make a toner with this plant. It helps soften. Hi, Weston. It helps soften those rough parts or wrinkly parts. So preventing colds and flu. Okay, we covered that. Now, here's some things that maybe you didn't think of. Treating athlete's foot. If you've had a foot infection, itchy skin that just won't heal, stimulating your immune system would behoove you. Like, seriously, if you have a fungal infection, that's a big indication that your immune system is not working. So taking Echinacea could help get you kind of geared up to fight it, and it has antifungal properties and all of that. So you could put it on topically. It wouldn't hurt, but just, you know, taking this plant internally will help with athlete's foot. It'll help with bladder infections. He has listed breastfeeding problems. Sometimes breastfeeding moms get an infection called mastitis, or they get like a nipple fissure or something. They would want to take this herb. This would be safe to take. Do your own research, but this would help boost your immune system to heal that infection. Okay, so he talks about also burns. If somebody gets a burn, this would be good to take to stimulate in their immune system, because when you get burned, your skin's opened up and then you could be more prone to infection. So you wouldn't think of it, but like anything that makes you more susceptible to a secondary infection, this would be a good herb to just help deter that, because your immune system is working at, I would like to say 100%, but like an improved state. So I did also mention about the bursitis and the tendinitis, the anti-inflammatory effects. It would help with that. He has it down for chronic fatigue system, because that could be linked to your immune system not working. There could be an underlying infection that you don't know. Like if you can't get that diagnosis, that specific answer that you're looking for, why don't you just skip looking for the answers and skip to an herb that could just help you on every single angle, and let's just get it fixed, right? Like, does it matter what's causing your chronic fatigue? Does it really matter? How about you just get it fixed? Bam, ECHiNACEA. So dry mouth. This helps increase saliva if you want to rinse with it. So somebody that has chronic dry mouth, a lot of elderly people have that. This plant would be good for dry mouth. If you got ear infection, ECHiNACEA, you want to take this. Same thing with gingivitis. You want to rinse with it. You want to swallow it. Like, get this in your body. So big infections, herpes virus, HIV, AIDS treatment, Lyme's disease, laryngitis, basically anything that is causing you trouble. That's why this list is so long. This plant can help you. Pneumonia, sinus stuff, styes. If you're getting chronic styes in your eye, like that little swollen, like ouchy thing, that's a sign of lowered immune response. So let's kick it in the pants. Okay, let's kick your immune system in the pants and get it working. Tuberculosis, it would help with that, I guess. Viral infections, any type of wounds, yeast infections, any type of infections, and just pretty much everything. Like, way to make claims, ECHiNACEA, way to make claims. So James Duke, he loves this plant. All herbalists love this plant. And all normal people like us can also love this plant because it can help us on so many levels. So anyways, you guys, I hope that that gave you a great introduction to ECHiNACEA if you had never heard of it. If you had heard of it, I hope it expanded your awareness, and definitely I hope that it planted the seed for you to learn more about this beautiful flower that's part of the aster family, but is definitely, in my opinion, an essential herbal ally in your healing journey. So anyways, you guys, thank you so much. Well, if you want to go back and re-listen to this, dermatitis would be, I would consider that a wicked skin condition like we read in this book. ECHiNACEA, if you want to make the tea, you can buy the ECHiNACEA tea bags, okay? Just make the tea and apply the tea to your skin. I would apply it to your skin and then I would drink the rest for a week, and then take a week off of drinking it to give your body a break, and then drink it again for the week. If you have any type of skin issue, it's your body telling you that, you know, your immune system is not working 100%. So ECHiNACEA is here to give us that stimulation that we need. So yeah, definitely try it as a tea. There's lots of other herbs though that would help any type of infection, and we can talk about that later. But I'm thinking plantain, which I just talked about last week, the Herb Nerd episode, plantain. That's something that grows that you can blend up and put right on your skin. So, and make sure you're drinking enough water too, you guys. Don't forget to go back to basics. Like if you have something going on with your skin or your body, just cover those basic things. Like, am I eating good food? Am I drinking enough water? Right? So it's silly to even go to herbs if you're not drinking enough water. Like, just start with that. You'll probably feel better. So anyways, you guys, I love you, and lots of green herbal love to you, and get to know Echinacea. It's a beautiful plant. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me on this Herb Nerd episode. This is Sadie from allnaturalme.com. I will post this episode on allnaturalme.com with a few notes, okay? So we can review and get nerdy together anytime you want. So much love to you. I'll see you again soon.